Good morning and happy Sunday. A banana cake! It came out of the pan. Empty pan. Banana cake! Yay! There you go. So it's burning and we're grinding sugar to put on top of the cake. Push it again and it'll stop.
Now.
Here we go.
Whoa, very nice.
Yeah. What you got? What is it?
For pig.
For the pig?
For rabbit.
Oh, for the rabbits.
Yes.
Cool. So, can you tell me what the sermon was about today?
Which one?
What the sermon was about? When Uncle talked?
About his life.
And what did you learn?
I learned from him. His testimony was very nice and it touched me.
So that was Sophie's husband, and he told his testimony, and then he talked about the scripture and how important the power of the scripture was, and that we should memorize it so that we can walk in the light.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy long life 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 to you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. Much done, babe. Happy birthday to you. Wow. Let it go.
Mama.
And let him. This one.
And then you want to feed him?
Yeah.
Look, this is your day. Bite nice.
I really like the Sabbath here. They actually rest. It's really, really nice. Apparently even in the high schools and stuff like that, Catholic boarding schools, which a lot of them go to, they don't study on Sundays. Even if they have a test the next day, they're not allowed to study on Sundays. And so, for the rest of the day, we're just resting. It's cool. There are mango-flavored birthday candies. Yay! These are another fun snack that they have here. When you open them, they look like that. And they're like spicy ramen noodles that you eat without cooking them. They're tasty. So Sister Sophie is going with her husband back to Kohima, which is where he is from, which is about 2 hours away, maybe, I think. And he comes down every so often, and then she goes up there sometimes. And so they will go up there, and I will cover her classes tomorrow. Okay, so, who's God today? By the way, that's water buffalo, right there, and chickens. Okay, today's God's identity comes with a whole Bible study attached to it, because we were talking about the scripture being very important, and so I was like, I should do a Bible study today. And then I was like, what should I do a Bible study on? And then I was like, it's the Sabbath. I should do a Bible study on the Sabbath, about the Sabbath. So, I did. And I started in Exodus 20, verse 8. When I use verses, that's like the beginning part. So, just keep reading if you're following along. And that's the 10 Commandments, and it basically says, you should rest on the Sabbath because God rested on the Sabbath. Which is cool. But there was a cross note, like a cross-reference. So I went to that. And that's in Deuteronomy, where the 10 Commandments are shared again. But this time, at the end of the whole you should rest portion, there was another part tacked on about the fact that you should rest because you have to remember that you were slaves in Egypt, speaking to the Israelites, and that God's mighty hand saved you from that area, and that's why you rest, to remember that. And there was another cross-reference. And that went to Genesis, which is where he actually did the resting to begin with. And it says that he finished his work, and that's why he rested. So, what else does it say? Hold on. Okay, so there were a ton of other little cross-references where things got attached to the Sabbath. Like in Leviticus 23:3, the sacred assembly was attached, which is why we go to church on Sunday. In Isaiah, there were promises attached. If you kept the Sabbath, you would find joy, ride on the high lands, and have feasts. In Leviticus, you were supposed to keep the Sabbath because he is the Lord your God. And hold on. In Exodus 31, it says that, death was attached to it. Like, if you don't keep the Sabbath, apparently you're supposed to die. And then, also, there was this idea of it being a covenant, and that the Sabbath is to show that you are his holy people, again, talking to Israel. And then it goes to Hebrews. Hebrews 4:1, and specifically verse 4. And it talks about the Sabbath rest being attached to salvation. And that entering in that Sabbath rest, that covenant that he had with the people when he saved them from Egypt, and when he created the earth, that's part of his Sabbath rest in heaven. So, like, his work was finished at the beginning of the earth, and so he rested. He saved them from Egypt, and so they rested. And now he's saving us because his work was finished on the cross, and so now we also rest on the Sabbath. So, I guess God is finished today with all his work, and so we can rest in him and rest on the Sabbath. And this is how you write my first name and last name in Hindi.